Federal government has dropped its criminal complaint against Miss Comfort Emmanson, the passenger accused of assaulting Ibom Air crew, and reduced the ban on Fuji star Wasiu Ayinde Marshal, aka KWAM, to 1 month. Minister of Aviation Festus Emmanson announced the decisions on Wednesday after consultations with aviation stakeholders, citing public appeals and the remorse shown by those involved. Ibom Air has withdrawn its complaint against Emmanson, paving the way for her to be released from the Kirikiri prison, while the airline operators of Nigeria will lift her lifetime flying ban. On the Value Jet runway incident, KWAM said the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority will cut KWAM's ban to 1 month and withdraw its complaint, with the musician set to serve as an airport security ambassador. The same 1 month suspension applies to the Value Jet captain and first officer involved, pending reprisal. KWAM added that aviation security staff will undergo retraining next week to improve passenger management and conflict de-escalation. He stressed the clemency was granted on compassionate grounds, insisting it should not be seen as tolerance for violations. Mr. Kola, this particular report, I don't know. I want to get your thoughts on this report because there are so many unanswered questions. For one, before you go through your thoughts on this report, I want you to bear in mind: does this discharge of this, does this throwing out of this case from where it was, because she was given a 5 to 6 count charge yesterday at the Ogba court for the crime she's committed with the airline and, harassing the airport officials and airports and the Ibom Air staff. Do you think that, given how indecently exposed this lady was, do you think she should still sue, or this clemency completely rules that out? What are your thoughts on this report?
This report of this story has been quite an eventful one, in the sense that we have had it going on for a couple of days now.
Right.
This development, for me, I think is fair enough.
Okay.
Because at some point I was beginning to think that it was a bit too intense and harsh on the
okay.
Especially given that the issue with the Fuji star was also, it's also a recent case, right? And in as much as our display is very detestable. When I watched the video, I was quite irritated with her action and actions, because she was literally fighting with everybody on that airline, and everybody she could face. So I am actually in support of the clement that has been given to everyone involved, including the pilots and the hostesses, but the part about where the explicit content was being shown,
right,
can still be deleted, because that's more like damage that might be very hard to fix, right? Because this thing has already trended all over the internet, right? And that in itself is degrading to the lady, and she can sue very well for that, especially given that there are videos.
Right.
There's a video of that particular scene where she was being escorted or picked out of the plane.
Right.
Right. We see where like 4 men were trying to get her out, and just to move back a bit. Speaking about conflict resolution and anger management, we were talking about it.
Right.
It was really irritating to see all that drama going on, because there were people coming to dilute the situation, but she wasn't trying to help. Right, which led to them. Which
many Nigerians have harped on the fact that for such behavior, right? Is it possible that she was triggered? Many Nigerians have come to say they think this lady was triggered into that action. Actually, just for context, another eyewitness, did post several videos of this same Ibom Air and that same hostess that this lady at that point had accosted. And that particular report, even though it trended for the most of yesterday, did suggest that a man had his phone on, and I really want us to dive into the idea of, your phone must be switched off or it's on airplane mode and all of those. Because in this second clip that trended yesterday, it was said that the lady had asked the man to put off his device. And the man has said, okay, I'm going to put it off. And she said, I need you to put it off now. And the man said, you cannot talk to me in that tone of voice, and you cannot talk to me in that manner. And she said, I need you to do it now. She went on to say stuff according to the videos that, who are you to tell me to not to put off, something about, who are you to tell me not to talk to you like that, or something like that. We expect that people that work in this particular field, air hostesses, are usually, they usually have this warmth, they usually have this calm demeanor, where they're actually there to please. Basically, the first phase of the aircraft, and because you want people to fly, it's just like saying that you want to go to a clinic and they're aggressive doctor and nurses. You won't want to give your body for a surgery in that kind of hospital. You want somewhere where their thought process is clear, where you see that the nurses are kind, the doctors, well, with the same way we still are able to call out nurses for being unkind severally. I think we should be able to call out airlines and air hostesses. Now, that said, the situation I'm trying to reference you to, that case ended quite badly. It's just that probably the man has gone through some anger management classes, and that is why it didn't de-escalate. They were on their way to Ghana at the time. Because of the man not wanting to put off his flight, the lady went over, the air hostess, decided to inform the pilots that the man doesn't want to put off his phone. And the man said, okay, go and tell other people before you get back to me. I would have put off my phone. And the lady went ahead to report to the pilots that the man hasn't put off, even though they were already, on air. The flight was returned to Lagos for act of they said like an act of terrorism of some kind, and this man was pulled out of the flight before the flight was made to leave. I mean, with that holistic picture of this same hostess by video evidence, which has now been circulating online yesterday, do you think this lady was actually triggered to this action, or even though that is not, some form of a cover-up for the kind of behavior she actually put up on the flight? Now, because we're talking about anger management, do you think, this lady was actually triggered to this as opposed to not being able to manage her emotions properly?
Now, valid points, valid analysis, valid questions. But now, what is the cause of this issue? Turning off our phones. First, let me answer the part about putting your phones off. Now that it's not I've been through the social media space, and some people are saying, some flights they even have data you can browse and whatnot. Why is it only Nigeria? All of that. It's a normal thing. It's not a Nigerian thing, right? There are still flights that you are told to turn off your devices or place them on airplane mode. Then when the aircraft is at a particular altitude, right? You will get an alert from the pilots, right, to say, oh, you can turn on the devices now, right? And when it starts to descend, you get the message again telling you, oh, please put your phones off the devices on airplane mode. Now, the mechanism about that is that these phones, right, tablets and whatnot, can have radio interference with aircraft, right? And that is why these memos are being mentioned
and implemented. Yes.
They are also just like they have models of cars and whatnot, there are models of planes that have been built to be immune to parameters that was immune to radio interference. Now explaining that the ones you have mostly on international flights, on much more recent models of aircraft.
Right.
Now, those such aircraft will not tell you to turn off the devices. I mean, most of that kind of aircraft have Wi-Fi on the plane, so it's safe to use. Now, in this case, in Nigeria mostly, most of our flights we are being told. I mean, it's a culture, right?
Right.
You don't even need someone to tell you. I mean, in the plain sense of things. So saying she was triggered, it's possible. I mean, if two people are saying the same thing about one person, there's absolutely something to look into that situation. Speaking about the hostess, obviously our actions are questionable. But then some might say she's just doing her job.
All right.
What's her job? To make sure, because I mean, God forbid, let's say that phone, or she allows that person to use his or her phone, and she says, okay, I'm going to come back. And within that time, maybe that device probably said, oh, let me quickly do something quickly. And then video interference causes something, something bad with the airline or with the aircraft. I mean, that's loss of life, you know. So
Sadly, yeah.
yeah, just all these things are just, I can call it safety measures, right? And you have a pamphlet on the plane telling you, okay, turn off your devices. Oh, these are the things you need to know, security measures. If something, 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 something
So
happens,
you're saying
you
people
don't
should
know
not be
how.
wait to be told to do that because it's standard
People
procedure.
shouldn't people shouldn't wait to be told. And when being told, like I said, the way I mean we all have had experiences and hostesses, air hostesses are usually warm and fair. So even if in a case like this, just like I said in the other story, most times people do not want to be in quotes, people do not want to be the fool or to be stepped on or to be spoken to in a particular type of way. But in other situations, why not at least what's the word? At least we have the security measures you have been told, right?
All right.
Turn off your devices. Then maybe during after the flight or when you land, you can now probably report and say, oh, this hostess was very mean and he spoke without disrespectful to me, even if I knew that I was supposed to turn off my phone. Wouldn't that be a better situation? But trying to now fight. I mean, there are speculations of stories saying she even tried to destroy some parts of the aircraft and whatnot. I mean, you don't have to do all of that to prove the point. And now we saw videos of people trying to calm the situation, and she's literally fighting these people again. So, when Nigeria will say she shoot herself for leg, because you kept you weren't listening to sense in any form.
Right.
When people some Nigerians will tell you, do you know who I am? When someone tells you, do you know who I am? You literally just know that it's going to escalate because that's when the person begins to try to do the wrong things
All right.
in the bid of thinking someone will come to save them in the end.
All right.
So it's been a mix of, I've seen people saying, oh, what she deserves it. Some are saying she doesn't deserve it. The only good thing, or if I may say so myself, like luck she has, is the fact that the Fuji star musician had a similar issue. So that's why I said it's the clemency for all involved. It's just a good thing, and it should be a lesson to others.
All right.
If you get situations like this, you can get to a safe spot. You could have landed and then report to the aviation ministry, right?
Right.
This person or this hostess on this airline is doing her job properly.
Right. Now, do you think this resolution by the NCAA is in good time or is in good tidings, especially because, when things happen in Nigeria, you tend to see it happen again and again. Do you think that this clemency action by NCAA is saying that, okay, Emmanson lady, you are free to go. She's going to be released from Kirikiri and all charges, dropped. KWAM, we're giving you 1 month. Pilots, we're giving you 1 month. Do you think with this resolution, as it were, in the totality of it, do you think that this will see us not having, having this sort of experience again in the coming months?
For me, I feel like it would. We have all seen the reaction
right.
of the aviation ministry to it. So we can see, pardon me, we can see that it wouldn't be taken lightly. I know some people might say, oh, maybe it's because of, I'm of that opinion as well. When the heavy hammer of the law began to hit on the lady, and we didn't have the same scenario with Fuji musician, right? People are beginning to call for balance of justice and preferential treatment and all of that. So even if some might say, oh, God is also having a similar case, let's just see it as a lesson, right? We have seen what can happen when they go this way. So I don't expect people to now keep or someone to act this same way in your future. Because, like I said, there are a couple of hundred things you could have done rather than doing what that young lady did. Likewise, with the Fuji star, it's just obviously, um, it's just an example that we should all learn from. And I believe someone else should do something like this because of this clemency that has been given. I'm
Right.
sure people will get such clemency again in the first future.
Thank you so much for your insight on that.